Swamiji, Yalamanchi and friends. There's one small correction I would like to make on what Yalamanchi said. He said that Indira Gandhi was the only man in the cabinet. Now that's a gender bias that you have reflected. It's also not according to our scriptures, because all the tough people in our civilization were women. When the male gods failed to kill the asuras, they had to go to Durga, and she had to come in the form of Kali. Similarly, the Mahabharata war would never have been declared but for the tenacity of Draupadi, who said, I will not tear not my hair and I will not let go. Ramayana, the killing of Ravan took place only because of Sita's determination. Hanuman came and offered to take her on her back and escape. She said, no, it's not a question of me. It's a question of all the women who have been enslaved by Ravan. So therefore Ram must come and finish him off. I can go on giving you examples. Today, the latest Time magazine lists Rani of Jhansi, the most, one of the 10 most valorous, strong women of the century. 1857, she valiantly led the battle with a child in her hand. So I think you should correct this gender bias. You should say Swamy is the only woman in the world. By the way, all the competitive exams, the first, second and third rank is now taken by women. So men will have to go to the kitchen and women will go to the office. Well, I know the food will be terrible. I'm supposed to speak to you today about corruption being a disease and the cure for it. And it's my thesis which I'm speaking in India, which irritates a lot of secular people, that corruption is the cancer of our society. And Hindutva is the cure for it. And this is exactly what I would explain, how corruption is the cancer, and how Hindutva can cure it. First of all, let's be very clear what corruption is, because the word corruption is used quite loosely. Digvijay Singh said that Ramdev is corrupt because he takes black money. So they said, how do you know he takes black money? He says he takes it in cash. Now that's not corruption. Supposing I am a crook and I have a lot of black money in my pocket and I go take a taxi to the airport and I give the taxi money his fare in cash. Does that make the taxi driver a corrupt person because he took black money from me? The corruption only arises when a public official misuses his public office for private gain. That is corruption. All the other things that people loosely talk about as corruption can be classified under fraud, under extortion, under cheating. But the corruption, which is really the one that causes the cancer in society, is when a public official misuses his office for private gain. The other forms that we see are essentially bilateral. But corruption is in the form I have defined to you, is multidimensional. First of all, when public office is misused for private gain, it usually, and always, not usually, it always happens, that a person who cannot get something on merit approaches the person who makes the decision, namely the public official, and tells them, I'll give you so much money, you please favor me and give me the project. Manipulate the tender in such a way that I get the tender. Or in your discretion to make a decision, you decide in my favor, and I'll give you so much money. So in a sense, what's happening is that the meritorious will not get what is their due, and those who are not meritorious, by the power of money, will be able to get it. The nation therefore sub-optimizes. Instead of finding the optimum, you find the sub-optimum. The Ministry of Road advertises and calls for tender to build a road. Somebody comes and says, knowing that he cannot compete with a more established and more meritorious person, he tells the minister, I'll give you so much money if you can manipulate the tender in my favor. Find some reason to disqualify the other persons. The minister says, this money that you're offering is not enough, give me some more. So he gives them some more, gets the tender. Having got the tender, he knows now that having minus so much money given to the minister, he cannot make a profit. So what does he do? He uses substandard material to build the road, and thereby saves enough money to cover the loss of the bride. And once he builds a substandard road, then the next monsoon the road disappears.
Vanishes.
It vanishes. I know one case which really happened. There was a terrible drought in the state of Orissa. So one collector sent a proposal to the government of India that there is a terrible drought in Orissa, people don't have water, so I should be allowed to dig, I should be provided funds to dig 500 wells so that people can get water. So the government sent the money to him because it's a desirable project, and he pocketed that money and wrote on the file that I have got 500 wells dug. 2 years later he was transferred and a new collector came, and he opened the files and he saw that so many crores had been spent to build these wells. So he went on an inspection tour and he found there were no wells. So he came back and wrote another letter to the government that my predecessor did a wonderful job during the drought of constructing 500 wells. Now there is no drought, but these wells have now started having mosquitoes and all. So I should be sent a few crores to cover up all these wells because we don't need these wells anymore. So he got these crores, and then he wrote, there were 500 wells built by my predecessor. Now I have sealed them all, and there are no more any wells there. So this kind of way of misusing, and it's all public funds, which the taxpayer gives. So we have to therefore primarily focus on ensuring that a person does not misuse his public office for private gain. And this has now gone from the collector level to such a gigantic level that they say that the 2G spectrum scam is probably the biggest in the 20th and 21st century. What happened there? As Telecom Minister Raja wanted that two of his friends should get the spectrum license. The only problem with these two friends was that they were not telecom people. They were real estate. They had no experience in telecom. One was a company called Swamy, another was a company called Unitech. They are both real estate companies. But Raja was determined that these two companies will get